Hey guys, this is Purge. How you doing? I decided to make this video, how to become an eSports caster, because I'm sure a lot of you guys are interested in doing something like this. I've gotten a couple messages before asking a range of things from technical questions or how do I get from nothing to making money, and I'm going to go over a lot of those different things in here. So I hope you guys enjoy. I know this is a little bit different than the normal type of content that I put out, but I'm sure this will be useful to a lot of you guys, or at least a lot of people who are curious how this ends up working out, a lot of aspects and things. So without further ado, I made this super shitty PowerPoint. I literally did this. I wrote a bunch of stuff down on my notebook right here, and then I turned it into a PowerPoint so that I have some notes and things. Otherwise, it would just be me talking to a camera, and this way you guys could retain some more information. So starting things off, why are there so few casters? This is a question that I've thought about myself for a decent amount of time. If we look at different games, I don't follow a lot of different esports scenes, mostly just StarCraft 2 and Dota 2, but there are very few casters. If you think about the amount of players compared to the amount of casters that there are, there's a very small percentage of player to cast, or a very slow ratio of caster to player perspective of, yeah, whatever, I think I demonstrated that properly. There's not very many casters, there's crap loads of players. The reason for this is because there are barriers of entry. If you don't know what barrier of entry is, that means what is preventing you from becoming what you want to be. If you want to be a pro caster, to make money for a living, to do this, your barriers are this: hard work, talent, and criticism is hard to take. Those are the three main things. Talent is obviously having the right voice for it, being likable as a person, knowing the material, being able to learn as you go. That all falls under talent. Only certain people have that. There's some people that aren't good at speaking. There are some people that aren't charismatic enough. There's some people who just maybe, I don't know, whatever, don't have the talent, period. If you can't break through the talent, bam, that's your barrier. You cannot become a Dota 2 caster, period. Hard work is probably the most the skill that is lacking the most, more than talent. There's plenty of good Dota players out there who could literally say, I know as much or more about Dota than Purge does. I should be there, not him. If you have more talent than me, then you're missing the hard work aspect, as long as you're not here. So the hard work aspect is the part that almost everybody stops at. People get burned out, etc. To get from starting from where you guys are right now, which is never casting a day in your life, to being where I am today, a year later after starting casting, this is my full-time job, is the hard work. Going from where I used to be to now is the hard work. If you don't put in the work, you will not get here. What does hard work mean? Hard work means I uploaded 6 videos a week on my YouTube channel for 7 months before I made a single dollar. That is a crap load of work to get there. I also live streamed 2 nights a week for Dota Cash. I did casting for Ghosty Gamers pretty much every possible opportunity. I casted the same games as Toby Wan did for months and months before I got major recognition. And I did all of that with the end goal of eventually making it worth my while in money. So I basically developed the talent over time, using criticism from fans and, my personal insights and stuff. I did the hard work aspect, and eventually I made that into a full-paying job, which it now is. I'll talk about the technical aspects and things later. I want to talk about criticism really fast. So criticism is a topic that I've been kind of thinking about talking to you guys about in the past, because my insights of it have just drastically changed since I started creating content. I went from a content absorber where I only watch other people's content. Now I'm a content creator where I create a lot of content that is absorbed by lots of other people. And when you go from that shift, you go from a life of not having anybody criticize you or your actions, very rarely. The average person has like parental influences, maybe like a significant other getting mad at them for or maybe roommates. It's very, very minor things. When you go to creating content, you have thousands of people on the internet who look at your content and give you feedback. Sometimes it's positive, sometimes it's negative, sometimes it's constructive, but the ones that really get to you are the non-constructive feedbacks. So I want to talk about those really quick, just so you guys understand how much of a barrier it is, first of all, and that hopefully you don't make it a barrier for new casters in the future, because it seriously hurts the scene. There's always going to be less casters because of criticism. So next slide. Problems caused with criticism. And to quickly summarize the criticism that I'm talking about that is negative, I'm talking about non-constructive criticism. People throw that around all the time, but you guys need to realize how minor your non-constructive criticism may seem, but how important it is. So for example, if somebody comes up to me on the street and they say, Purge, you suck at casting, you're terrible. I would be like, that sucks. Why are you telling me this? You're not helping me get better. And I would not be happy about that. That hurts me as a person. If someone came up to me and said, Purge, I think you could be better at casting. These are the things you do. You say a little bit too often. You say, too often. And when people give me a list like that, it's like, okay, you're right. I'm not doing good enough. I'm not doing well enough, and I want to get better. Thank you for the constructive feedback. That is a huge difference. If someone just pokes at you as a person, if someone just swings into my Twitch chat and says, Purge, your hair looks terrible. It's like, that doesn't really bother me a whole lot, but it's like one little poke a million times adds up. And that's really frustrating. Even if you guys are just coming in there and you think that's funny, you're like, I'm just gonna casually troll Purge because I think this is hilarious. Please don't do it, because it doesn't bother me that much, but there's always going to be people out there that are severely bothered. So, there's that. An example of that is, there we go, my third point, hardworking, talented personalities quit. Some people can't handle that shit. They just can't. You can't handle that much criticism. I now understand why major celebrities have emotional breakdowns where they go crazy. It's because they get popular and then people give them all this feedback and all these people just critique the shit out of them. Stuff that isn't necessary. Like, as a viewer, people generally feel entitled to share their opinions. And you shouldn't always do that. If it's non-constructive, if you feel like if you watch a video where someone's super ugly, you think, wow, that guy's really ugly. And some people literally just write it down and you're like, you're super ugly. You don't need to share that information. Try to hold back, guys, from splurging your mind out to people, because it hurts. There was a example of a girl caster who, for Dota commentaries, when I started casting, I think her name was Sienna or something like that. She used to cast for Dota commentaries. She was super successful because she had a nice voice and she was good at casting and whatever, and she was a girl, which probably helped a lot. But either way, people gave her so much sexual harassment, she just shut down her channel. She could easily be a bigger or as big of a caster as I am today if she didn't give up. And it's all because of the feedback that she received and the negative criticism and the sexual harassment and all that shit. And I know that the internet is not going to fix itself by me making this video necessarily, but please, guys, if you can control yourself, just keep the non-constructive feedback out of your commentaries. If there's a problem, send a well-thought-out message to the person and just leave it at that. That's going to be way more constructive than a comment. Please be nice, because otherwise you're completely limiting the amount of people that become casters, and this hurts the scene because there's less variety and there's less competition and all that stuff. It's not good at all. We want more casters, period. So, those personalities are not easily replaced. If someone puts 8 months of work in and then gets fed up with all the shit that they receive on Twitter or Reddit or whatever, people just give up, and that's someone else that has to start from scratch. There is always going to be space, by the way, guys. It's not like all those barriers are the only thing holding it back, but there is always more space. You guys could probably start casting StarCraft 2, and if you were amazing at casting StarCraft 2, you might not be able to find the most high-paying job ever, but you could find a high-paying job. You could find a job, maybe. If you do, I mean, I think there's always room to grow. There's always room to be competitive. If someone's better than casting than me, they should start a channel tomorrow, and they should bust ass, do the hard work, have the talent aspects, and bam. At some day, they're going to replace me because they're better than me, and it's going to happen. I can guarantee you that much. There might be other casters that you guys think you can replace, or there's always going to be space. There's always more content that can be made. So there's totally holes for casting. It looks like everything's saturated, but it's not. Probably is not. At least in Dota 2, that is true. It is not fully saturated. There can always be more casters. So make sure that you remember that. I look at I'm a ghostofgamers.net staff, guys, and I look through the applications to be new casters. Most of the people, pretty much 90% of the people that apply, have never casted a day in their life. And they say, I need to join Ghost of Gamers crew to cast because this is my only way to start casting. That is absolutely not true. To start casting, you do it like I did it. You start making videos. Well, you know what? That's next slide. But, sorry. But believe me, there's tons of space. So I'll move on. Anyways, also limit social media interaction for personalities. Whenever someone jabs at me, like on Reddit, sometimes I've always had a very anti-troll response. Where if someone, this is from playing Warcraft 3 Dota, if someone talks shit to me, I'll talk shit back to them. But basically, I'm to the point now where I can't always do that in a public place because it always makes me look terrible and they don't lose anything. It's a lose-lose situation for me. So if people make jabs at me in public places, I feel like I should be able to defend myself, but I can't, which sucks. So that's kind of another aspect of try not to jab and try not to give non-constructive criticism. It just makes the personalities very, very jaded against interacting with viewers, and that's not good for anybody. So anyways, That's enough criticism. I don't need to talk about that anymore. I just wanted to put that in there. I know it's not that related to being a caster, but it's something that I wanted to keep you guys aware of, is that it sucks receiving all this criticism. It's by far the worst thing about the job, guaranteed. 100% the worst thing about the job. People feel entitled to tell you their opinions about you, and it's not always constructive. So try to hold that back if you guys don't have anything constructive to say. All right, technical aspects. I'm wrong about the next slide. It's the slide after this one, probably. This is going to get into what it takes to become a caster. Most people say, oh, I could do the talking thing, that's fine. I could do the personality thing. I don't know how to do the technical aspects. You do it like I did it. Google is your friend. I learned everything that I did. Mostly, probably 95% of the technical things I learned from Googling. When I first started, I had no idea how to put an overlay over the replay timers. I had no freaking clue. I didn't know what it was called. I just literally Googled things until I figured it out. Google is your friend, guys. You don't need somebody else to give you the answers. Don't send me a message saying, how do I stream? Tell me exactly how to stream. I don't have time to answer that question for you. The internet does. Go Google that stuff. You can learn that information. And so some basics for software. You can find this all on my website, purgegamers.com/FAQ. But for recording video, I use Fraps. I use XSplit sometimes. I have done local recordings with XSplit before. I had some issues in the past with YouTube interactions, but it does work. So XSplit for recording video is pretty good. Also, it gives you audio. You can record with XSplit and get audio plus video. XSplit licenses now cost money. You used to be able to do that for free, but they just became a live service. Either way, XSplit is totally worth your money. If you guys ever want to get into streaming, buy it. It's an awesome software. Go for it. It's very easy to use. Fraps is also costs money, but it's another investment that you can make to record your audio. Make sure you have a large hard drive, and from Fraps files, if you're using Fraps to record video, I also use Audacity to record my audio. Make sure you guys have a good mic, that's important. And then from there, you put the Fraps video files and the Audacity audio files into Sony Vegas, which is a video editing program. You can use it to make movies. It's very easy to edit video clips. I basically cut off the beginning and I cut off the end, and I match the audio, and bam, render it out. Video is made. You can look up all the render settings online, what settings to set to, etc. You can experiment, upload to YouTube, bam. All of a sudden you can make YouTube VODs. It's not super hard. Once you figure out the basics, it's not a big deal. It does still take a lot of time, but that's a side effect. And you don't need a super good computer to do this. When I first started making VODs, I had a 2-core processor. This was 1 year ago. I'm currently sitting on a super fancy Intel whatever, i7 that has hyper-threading crap and whatever. Like all the super effective hardware. You need a better quality computer to stream high quality, but if you just want to make VODs, you can have a shitty laptop and get it done. It just takes a little bit more time to make the videos and stuff. So you shouldn't be too limited by hardware. Even if you are, if you guys want to do this seriously, invest $500 or $700 in a moderately nice computer, and bam, you're covered. My last computer that I used for, I believe, about 6 to 7 months, 8 months, something like that, it was $700. I bought it on Newegg. It was a pre-built. I already had software licenses, which usually costs about $100 or $200, but I bought a moderately nice, cost-efficient computer, and from there I made videos. Bam. You can do it too. If you have the money, save your money. I don't know. Spend your money, prioritize, say, I want a nicer computer so I can do more things with the video production, whatever. Spend the money. All right, how do I make money? You have a couple options right now. If you want to be a caster and you want to make money, primary ones, this is at least my business model. I want YouTube, I want streaming, and I want coaching. The easiest way to create your own job is to create your own job. The easiest way to make money is to create your own job. This is what I did. I created my own job from scratch. I started out saying, I know that if I start right now and I cast very heavily, and I'm one of the biggest casters, I can eventually make full-time living based on YouTube, streaming, whatever. I heard on NPR when I was working a full-time job that the top 100 people on YouTube make over $100,000 a year. I can tell you for a fact that they probably make a lot, some of them make a lot more than $100,000 a year. They're probably making more towards $200,000, $300,000 a year. It all depends on how many views you get. So if you can build up to a point where you make crap loads of VOD views, you will make a lot of money. For gaming, you have pretty good volume usually, much more than like comedy channels. Your effort on video per view is usually lower, so you spend less time per video, which is a good thing for a video game producer. Video producer, but anyways, yeah, if you can get a lot of views on YouTube, you make the money, whatever. You have to get partnership with channels, and then from there you can run ads. So you have to build up your channel first to get to that point. It took me 7 months to build up my channel to a point where I got partnership offers, and eventually I signed with a company that I thought was the best fit for me. So that's YouTube. Takes a very, very long time to build up YouTube, guys. If you want to do streaming for money, that is another option. You can do streaming in similar methods. Hard work, you put in a lot of hard work, you have consistent content, and you have talent. This goes the same for YouTube as well. You do those 3 aspects of VOD creation, and eventually you can make money on streaming or YouTube. Either one. Coaching is a little bit differently. You have to have the knowledge, and you also have exposure. Have to have exposure by your viewers. You have to have enough people watching that some of them will be willing to pay you money to teach them how to play the game better on an individual basis. If people are interested in doing this, it's totally worth their money. It's cost efficient for them. They'll hang out with you, and you'll teach them how to play the game better. Done deal. I don't do coaching anymore, by the way, guys, at least for the moment, because I'm too busy with other stuff, but it's an option. So before I had my YouTube money kicked in, I started coaching, and that really increased my revenue enough to keep me in an apartment and not dead on the street, kind of a thing. No, I'm just kidding, but it did help me supplement my revenue to the point where I could continue casting. So, but anyways, it's all about creating your job. Don't go to a company and expect for them to just hook you up with a streaming salary and whatever. Nobody's going to pay you salary. I don't get a salary from anybody. I make money from the content that I make. So if you guys want to make this your job, or if you just want to do it casually, don't expect revenue unless you put in the hard work and you have the talent. That's the underlying themes. It takes all of that stuff to make sure that's your job. If you want to be an esports caster, you have to make sure that you're creating value and that you do it consistently enough and for long enough that you build up the fan base to the point where it's economically efficient. My view counts when I was casting for about 7 months were sitting around, what was it? Like terrible numbers per day. It must have been something like 900 views a day, I think. Something pretty bad. I'm getting right now close to 50,000 views per day. When I was making VODs for months and months, I was getting 900 views a day, which is pretty much nothing. Pretty much nothing. And you just have to power through that until you're at the point where you make enough views per day where it's actually cost efficient for your time. But it takes that build-up time. So, very important thing to note. So, from there, how do you move up to the casting ladder? This is basically what I vaguely talked about, which is how do you go from the hard work talent, how do you integrate that into eventually make money? You start casting. Any of you guys right now, if you guys want to be a caster, this is your list. This is the list you need to look at. Number 1, start casting. Go do it. You don't need to co-cast with me to start casting. Don't send me messages saying, Purge, I want to cast with you on some pro game. No. If you're brand new at casting, first of all, no offense, you probably suck, just like I sucked when I first started casting. You're probably bad at all the basic stuff, which is filling downtime, talking about stuff, not interrupting your co-caster, basic things like that, just boring stuff. How to talk without sounding like an idiot. How to not get jumbled up in team fights. It took me months, and I still do it, get jumbled up in team fights. Those are all the things you don't need me to get good at. Go take the technical stuff I just told you, start recording videos, throw them anywhere, throw them on your YouTube channel, throw them on a stream. You can stream your cast, you can stream pub games. If you guys want to start casting, go cast pub games right now. Go cast high-level pub games and just do it for practice. Once you get the practice, you get the talented portion. That's number 2. You're getting talented by practicing. You have to have talent before people recognize you, otherwise they're not going to watch you, period. Once you have a VOD library that you can show people, this is how good I am at casting, and you have experience casting by yourself, with other people who suck at it, whatever, anything, then you apply to a website. At that point, once you think that you've spent enough time getting practice in, you apply to a website. This is a website like purgegamer.net. I don't know if Join Dota accepts casting applications, but I'm sure they probably have some place where you could apply, or you could send somebody a message. If you have experience casting and you have VOD libraries, send it to them. If there's an application. Like I said before, I've looked through the Ghost of Gamers applications before. It is almost all people who have skipped the first 2 steps. They haven't even started casting yet. Why are you applying for casting if you haven't even started ever casting in your life? Please, guys, start casting, get talented, apply to a website. If you apply to a website and you have the first 2 steps covered, I can guarantee that you're more qualified than almost everybody else there. If you have the talent and you've already done the experience and you've shown that you can work hard by yourself on something that doesn't pay you money because you just damn well enjoy doing it, then you have a really good shoo-in of being into a website. Once you're into the website, You use the website to get yourself exposure. This is similar to what I did for ghostygamers.net and Dota Cash. I applied to those websites to be their casters because I wanted them to help fuel views to my YouTube channel, which they eventually did. It took a long time to pay off, but it did. I cast on Ghosty Gamers every day. Every 2 or 3 games, I tell people to go look at my YouTube channel, and eventually enough people are aware of me that I get popular. So I got popular also through Reddit and other things, but also casting for Ghosty Gamers always had me as a slightly household name for a very long period of time. People knew of my existence. They didn't necessarily watch me cast, but they knew who I was. And eventually you get popular, and you, with that popularity, you refer to your YouTube and your stream, and you help fuel those views. So I helped fuel the views to my YouTube, to my stream, and that eventually boosted up my views to a point where I finally get enough views per day where I actually make enough money for it to be a reasonable paying job. Eventually, profit is the 6th step. You got to refer back to the YouTube. You have to have a payment structure. You have to make sure that you are going to be able to make money eventually. It's all about volume and other stuff. That's also important. If you want to cast GoldenEye 64 tournaments, you're probably never going to make enough money. That's important to be realistic about that. So that's why Dota is great, because there's a huge viewer base, which means that there's a high chance for a lot of people watching your content. Same goes for StarCraft 2, same goes for League of Legends, same goes for all of those other esports games that are getting popular, Modern Warfare 3, etc. Has to be a big viewer base, otherwise all of these stages are wasted. You're not going to make money. If you want to do it for fun, do it for fun. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you ever want to eventually have the possibility to make money, you have to do all of these precursor steps. You have to enjoy it personally. If you don't, you're going to not be able to do the hard work aspect. If I didn't enjoy casting Dota or doing gameplay commentaries of Dota or playing Dota, I would have stopped a month in where I was like, well, this is not paying off anytime soon and I don't enjoy it. I'm done. I would have stopped. So luckily I enjoy it. And I drive enough views, and I did all the other business aspects. These are the business aspects, by the way. I did all the business aspects to the point where I'm finally making enough money to have a job, period. So, do I have more? No, okay, that's the last slide. So, I think that's about it. I'm going to try not to ramble on much more longer here. Any longer? Ugh, I don't know what I just said, but it was probably terribly accurate. That is how you become a caster, guys. If you want to be a caster, go do it right now. Literally. Turn off this video, go to YouTube, create an account with a unique name that you think is going to be good for marketing purposes. Start working on your art. Go figure out how to do all the technical aspects, how to use fraps on your computer, how to record your gameplay, how to record your audio, how to make videos, and then upload the videos to YouTube. Then you have to worry about tags and all that, titles and all that other stuff, but it's all stuff you can learn. Go to Google, learn how to do that stuff. You should start casting now. There's only like 5 Dota 2 casters, 5 to 7 Dota 2 casters that are prominent right now. There is plenty of more space for more people. The main reason why I casted so many games is because there was no one else that was available to cast them all the time, and that is what gets you really popular, is by putting in all the hard work, having the talent, and doing the other aspects like your business model and stuff like this, business model. So that's it. If you guys have any more specific questions, if I missed anything, please leave comments below. Please, non-constructive comments, none of those. Please be better about that, guys. Be nice. Be nice to casters. Try to make sure, if you guys aren't capable of casting yourself, don't be a hater. Just be nice. Give constructive feedback. Don't be mean to people. You're just reducing the amount of personalities that are willing to make this their job. Seriously, very important. I'm sure there's a lot of StarCraft people that are... There's a big blog about, or a big uproar about JP getting pissed at people because they were hating on his content. And it's the same stuff. He works hard to make some content. Yes, he gets paid for it, but he works hard at it. And people just nitpick him, and then he reacts to it in a bad way. Did not handle that correctly, so not saying everything he did there was right, but makes the scene hurt because you make people like JP not want to make content anymore when you nitpick him. People think, if you think you can do better than the other personalities, if you guys think that you can do better than me, go start your website, go start your YouTube channel, go start your stream right now, and get to it. Do the hard work, do the personality, and eventually you'll profit with enough hard work and talent. So, all right. I'm going to stop because I could ramble all day, but I'm going to stop now. Thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate you guys for being my viewers. I seriously appreciate it. I put in lots of hard work to get where I am today, and hopefully you guys can do the same. If you want to cast with me, put in a month or 2 of hard work. Show me your stuff. I'll go look at it briefly. If you're good at casting, I would love to co-cast with you, but please do the get talented part before you contact me, or at least put in at least a little bit of work. At least a little bit. Otherwise, it's kind of it's a weird request. So, all right, for the 3rd time, I'm going to stop. Goodbye. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you later.